everybody. Welcome to another week of session for WHIPS, Women in Public Safety podcast. This is the podcast where we discuss issues related to first responders, female who are in the first responders profession, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's police, whether it's corrections, health and safety, social services, or human services. Welcome to another Saturday. I wanted to, before I get started into today's topic, please hit the like, share, and subscribe so we can keep the algorithm going and get more people interested into the podcast. All right, so today's topic is about the pros and cons of having a union and being a part of a union for first responders professional. And this is not inclusive to female first responders. This topic is about anybody who works as a first responder or public safety professional. So let's talk about it. My opinion is unions can be a double-edged sword. Let's talk about the pros of having a union and why it matters. I have written some notes. Unions can negotiate with management for better wages, better working conditions, benefits, and then on better employment terms. And then as specifically for first responders, safety is definitely always an issue. And we as first responders or public safety workers, we faces unique challenges that question their management actually care about our safety or not. And I'm not saying that they don't. It's just that sometimes we are put in a position where we have to give our all, A and beyond. And sometimes it's a safety issue or a security issue. And you're talking about a high stress, especially those of us who work inside prisons or correctional facilities. You're dealing with the emotional strain and emotional physical pressures and sometimes physical dangers, emotional constraints. So having a union that will recognize that we need, some kind of better safety measures in place that are what are in place now. Another thing is they can negotiate different types of contract for us, which again goes back to having better wages, higher wages, that we can negotiate higher wages. And usually, again, that could be a catch-22 situation. If you're a public servant, you've got to go through the politics of trying to get a higher wage. And it's like you got to fight tooth and nail just to get wage increase in your salary. But you're still expected to do high stressful and oftentimes dangerous type work. So another thing, I have a little bit of a feedback from some of the things that I've as far as people who have been polled or surveyed in discussing this issue. And some of the feedback that I've written during the research is said that some says that they feel more secure knowing that they have someone in their corner when dispute arise, which is one of the pros of a union. When you feel like you're being treated, if there's an issue going on your job or management is coming for you for disciplinary action, you are entitled to a union representation. And they just cannot fire you at will. There is a process to do that. So having a union rep to speak before you and fight on your behalf is definitely an advantage. Let's talk about health and mental health benefits. It's crucial that we have some kind of systems in place and resources in place that will help us take care of ourselves mentally and physically to be our best when we are on the front line and dealing with the public. And union can negotiate those types of, that's part of the employment services that management can offer us. Now let's talk about the cons. One of the main issues that I think is a lot of con that people always talk about is the cost. It's a lot of union dues are very expensive, and a lot of people feel that for what they're paying weekly or every 2 weeks or monthly, depending on what type of union you're in. The union hasn't served its purpose in serving their members. So, that's definitely a negative. Also, the next issue is limited flexibility as far as union negotiate contracts that apply to all members, which means individual employees may have less room to negotiate for their personal preferences. If they do a standardized shift for schedule or pay, it could limit your ability to work out deals that suit your unique needs and circumstances. You may be in a job that, even though you are in the same umbrella as working for public safety, your particular task or position is a little more intense, or a little more, you have more responsibilities, but yet you are still under the same standardized pay rate as everybody else, and people may feel that's not fair. Also, there's also, which we all understand and know, those of us who are in unions, the conflict with management. Say the old saying that you're in bed with the management. There's always talk of, or rumors that a lot of these union are doing backdoor deals with these management, which in the end does not benefit their members or the employees at all, but it's more beneficial to the management. And it creates a us versus them mentality. And a lot of times the union are not really providing the advocacy that we as union members pay them to do. I can tell you personally, on a personal note, in my particular situation, we just recently had a union negotiation for, on our contract. We have been asking for pay raise increase for years. And this goes back to different departments, how everything is more standardized across the board, or one department gets, one part of the first responders profession gets the pay raise that they well deserve. And I'm not saying that they don't, because they do. While those of us, they don't, management doesn't see, or, union didn't fight hard enough, and management doesn't see need in the necessary, and or don't understand why we shouldn't be compensated for the hard work and the stress that we deal with every day. So, right now in my particular department, it brings down the morale. We're paying a union that we feel that are not advocating for us as hard as what we feel like they should. And not only that, it's a very large union, which means they have all these other professions in that same union along with us. And that takes away, that's another negative, because it's taken away our ability to fight for what we feel that is fair and equal, and what we should be well compensated for the job that we do. We have nothing, and not against it. It is the first nurses and teachers and social workers. They are first responders, but it's like comparing apples to oranges when it comes to law enforcement and corrections and, social workers, or, nurses or anything like that. Not diminishing what they do. They just do it in a different way. But when you're comparing the two, we're just two different entities. And, having a large union that has a lot of these different, professions all under one umbrella, that does create issues for those of us who, feel that our voices are not heard. So, I said it's a double-edged sword. Unions are a double-edged sword. The other flip side, you can not have a union, and you can be fired and be treated at will. They can fire you at will, and you're at the mercy, even more, I'll put it this way, you're more at the mercy of management if you do not have a union. But all I can say is I think we all understand we have to do our due diligence. We're dues, and goal of the union is to advocate for us. They're supposed to be helping us, and we're paying you to do that. So we just want, those of us who are on the front lines, we just want to be heard and be recognized and be compensated for what we do and for the amount of work that we do. And, what is that? Well, I will say this, and I think I've said it in one of my earlier podcasts, that there were studies made to determine how much of a raise or how much should we be compensated if we're comparable to other states and cities and counties who are similar in demographic and similar in positions and in roles. And according to the study, that we found out that we're, in the same realm of, other cities in states that are in our, same type of position that we are. But colleagues of mine have challenged that, because some of the cities that they choose to compare us to, there's no comparison, because you're talking about the demographic, the economic. We were economically different, economically, socially, or so the demographic are different. There's just no comparison when you're comparing a community that's a city against a more of a smaller rural town or something. You can't compare that equally. And that was one of the things that we were concerned about. So in the end, I just want, we all have to do our due diligence. You deserve to be compensated. We chose this profession not only to help people because we care about our community and the people that we serve, but we want to be recognized and be, paid and well compensated for it. So we have union, and if we're paying our union dues, then that's what we should expect in return. So what's your thoughts? What do you feel about union? Have you had an incident in your personal career that union, that you was very satisfied of the outcome with the help of the union? Having union, you paid your due, that you feel that your dues are being well utilized in your membership of your union or not? Leave a comment, let me know. All right, so you guys stay safe, and I'll talk with you next week. Take care. Bye.